The stars disappeared behind metal. 500 warships emerged from the darkness of space, each one larger than a city. They moved in perfect formation, blocking the light from distant suns. Commander Dae-sung stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching Earth grow larger on the viewing screen. The small blue planet looked fragile and alone. Dae-sung smiled. This would be easy. He had conquered 43 worlds in his career. Earth would be number 44. The report said the humans were weak. They lived short lives, barely 60 or 70 years. Their bones broke easily. Their skin tore. They needed special suits just to survive in space. Most importantly, they had never left their own solar system. They were children playing with rockets. The Velkari were different. Dae-sung's people had ruled the stars for 12,000 years. They had conquered 847 worlds. Their warriors trained for centuries. Their technology made human machines look like toys. Their honor code had never been broken. "Sir, we are in position," said Hye-jin, his second officer. She was young for her rank, only 200 years old. But she was smart and loyal. "Excellent. Open a channel to the planet. Let us offer them the chance to surrender." Hye-jin worked at her console. Within moments, every radio, television, and computer on Earth received the same message. Dae-sung spoke in a calm voice, the way a teacher speaks to a student. "People of Earth, I am Commander Dae-sung of the Velkari Empire. Your planet is now under our control. You have two choices. Submit to our rule peacefully and you will be allowed to live. Resist and you will face extinction. You have 1 hour to respond." Dae-sung closed the channel. He turned to Hye-jin. "How long do you think they will take to surrender?" Hye-jin looked at her screens. Her face showed confusion. "Sir, I am reading strange energy signatures from their satellites. Their defense systems are more advanced than our intelligence reported." "Impossible. They are primitives. Sir, I recommend caution. They have never even fought an alien species before. They will surrender. They must." On Earth Defense Station Olympus, Captain Tae-won received the message. He was 58 years old, with gray hair and scars on his face from 3 different wars. Wars against other humans. He read the alien's words and started laughing. "Sir?" asked his communications officer. "Should we respond?" Tae-won stopped laughing. His face became serious. "Connect me to Admiral Bo-ra, Priority 1. The screen flickered. Admiral Bo-ra appeared. She was 67 years old, the oldest active officer in Earth's defense force. She looked tired, but her eyes were sharp. "I saw their message," she said before Tae-won could speak. "What do you recommend, Captain?" "We show them what happens when you threaten Earth." Bo-ra nodded slowly. "Agreed, no surrender. Not now, not ever. Activate all defense platforms. Wake up the fleet. Tell every soldier, every pilot, every person with a gun that we are going to war." "Yes, Admiral." "And Captain, make them regret coming here." The hour passed. Dae-sung waited for Earth's surrender message. Instead, something else happened. Warning alarms filled the bridge of his flagship. Young-soo, the weapons officer, shouted in surprise. "Sir, multiple launches from Earth's moon." "Counting. 200 missiles inbound. Destroy them." "Sir, they are using fusion warheads as weapons. Each one could destroy a city." Dae-sung felt a moment of shock. Fusion missiles were primitive, but using them in space required no fear of consequences. The humans were throwing their most powerful weapons at his fleet like stones. Point defense systems fire at will. The Velkari ships responded quickly. Laser grids lit up space, destroying most of the incoming missiles. But not all. 3 missiles broke through and struck a Velkari frigate. The ship's shields failed. The hull cracked open. 300 Velkari warriors died in seconds. Return fire. Destroy their moon base. But before the Velkari could shoot, more alarms sounded. Young-soo's voice rose higher. "Ships! Hidden ships emerging from behind Earth's moon. They were waiting for us." A dozen human vessels appeared. They were small compared to Velkari warships, barely the size of Velkari shuttles. But they moved fast, faster than should be possible. Dae-sung watched in disbelief as one human ship accelerated directly at a Velkari destroyer. The distance closed in seconds. At the last moment, escape pods launched from the human ship. Then the ship itself, still at full speed, crashed into the destroyer. The explosion was beautiful and terrible. Both ships died. Did they just sacrifice their own ship?" Dae-sung whispered. Hye-jin checked her instruments. Her hands shook slightly. "Sir, I'm detecting similar suicide runs from 4 other human vessels. They are using their ships as weapons. That is insane. That is not how war is fought. Sir, they do not seem to care about our rules." The battle continued for 3 hours. The Valkyrie had superior weapons, better shields, and more ships. They should have won easily, but the humans fought like cornered animals. When their missiles ran out, they used their ships. When their ships were damaged, they rammed. When given the choice between retreating and dying, they chose dying if it meant taking Valkyrie with them. By the end of the first engagement, Daisung had lost 65 ships, 13% of his fleet, in 3 hours, against a species that had never fought in space before. Yejin began analyzing the battle data. What she found disturbed her. She spent hours reviewing human history files that the Valkyrie had collected. Wars that lasted years, soldiers who fought until their ammunition ran out, then fought with knives, cities that burned themselves rather than surrender. One human phrase kept appearing in their intercepted communications. Taewon had said it. Bora had said it. Soldiers on the ground were saying it. We do not lose. We just run out of time. Heejin did not understand what it meant, but it frightened her. Daesung stood on his bridge staring at the damage reports. He had fought for 300 years. He had never lost 13% of his fleet in a single battle. Never. And this was supposed to be the easy part. The space battle. The ground invasion would be harder, but he was Valkyrie. He did not retreat. He did not surrender. His honor demanded victory. Prepare ground forces. We invade Earth tomorrow. That night, Earth prepared. Every human with a weapon checked it. Every human without a weapon found one. The young were sent to shelters. The old stayed to fight. In Seoul, in Lagos, in Sao Paulo, in 1,000 cities, humans made ready. Taiwan sent one final message to Daesung. The Valkyrie commander played it alone in his quarters. Commander Daesung, you have made a mistake. You thought you were invading Earth. You thought you were fighting primitives, but you do not understand. We are not primitives. We are the species that looked at animals with sharp teeth and said, I will make you my pet. We are the species that survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. We are the species that split the atom and touched other worlds. And most importantly, we are the species that never ever surrenders. You have invaded Earth. Now you are going to learn why the gods themselves fear humans. The message ended. Daesung sat in silence for a long time. For the first time in his 300 years of life, he felt something unfamiliar. Doubt. The Valkyrie dropships fell through Earth's atmosphere like metal rain. Jiwoo commanded the first wave, 20,000 warriors in full armor. Their target was Seoul. Intelligence said the city held 3 million people. Most were civilians. This should be simple. The dropships landed in the ruins of what had been a park. The moment the doors opened, bullets filled the air. Jiwoo's shields absorbed the first shots. He stepped out, raised his weapon, and scanned for targets. An old woman was firing an ancient rifle from a broken building. She had to be 70 years old. When Jiwoo's soldiers moved toward her, she did not run. She kept shooting until they stunned her. Civilians fighting? Said one of Jiwoo's warriors. Where are their soldiers? Everyone is their soldier, Jiwoo replied quietly. They moved deeper into Seoul. The city was already damaged from the space battle. Buildings leaned at strange angles. Fires burned. But in the rubble, humans waited. Not soldiers, not warriors, just people who refused to run. A child, maybe 10 years old, threw something from a window. It was a bottle filled with gasoline and chemicals. It broke on a Valkyrie warrior's shield and burst into flames. The warrior was not hurt, but Jiwoo saw the look in the child's eyes. Not fear hatred, check all buildings, he ordered. Assume everyone is hostile. They learned quickly that assuming was not enough. A group of humans approached under a white flag, the universal symbol of surrender. Jiwoo held his fire and waited. The group got within 20 meters. Then they exploded. Sun-hee had been a nurse before the invasion. She volunteered to be a suicide bomber. She walked toward the aliens calmly, her finger on the trigger hidden in her pocket. When she pressed it, she took 15 Valkyrie warriors with her. Jiwoo survived because he had stayed back. He stared at the crater where Sun-hee and his soldiers had been. The Valkyrie taught that war had rules. Honor meant fighting fairly. But humans were not fighting fairly. They were fighting to win. Sir, we have a problem, said his communications officer. The humans are not retreating. Every block we take, they attack from underground. There are tunnels everywhere. Seoul had a massive subway system built over decades. During the first hour of invasion, humans had opened emergency connections between subway tunnels sewer systems, and underground shopping centers. Now thousands of people moved through the darkness beneath Jiwoo's feet, appearing and disappearing like ghosts. Minseo had been a teacher. She taught history to high school students. Now she taught survival. Her group was 19 people, the youngest 14, the oldest 82. They lived in the tunnels and came out to fight. Remember, she told her group, they have better weapons and armor. But they do not know these streets. We do, hit them and disappear. Never stay and fight. Make them afraid of shadows. They captured a Velkari translator named Kyung-ho. Minseo kept him alive because he could tell them how the aliens communicated. While her fighters guarded him, she asked questions. Why did you come here? Kyung-ho was confused by the question. Because you are here. Because we conquer. You thought we would just accept that? Every other species has. After they see our power, they surrender. Minseo laughed. It was not a happy sound. Then every other species is not human. We are the species that looked at wolves and said, I am going to make you guard my house. We are the species that looked at wild horses and said, I am going to ride that. We looked at birds and said, I am going to fly better than you. We do not accept limits. Why would we accept chains? Kyung-ho had no answer. Minseo's group studied the Velkari translator. They learned his language. They learned that certain sound frequencies made Velkari feel instinctive fear, remnants from predators on their ancient homeworld. Within days, human engineers built speakers that broadcast those frequencies. Velkari warriors began reporting nightmares even while awake. In space, the war continued. Admiral Bora moved her command center every 6 hours. The Velkari tried 3 times to locate and destroy it. Each time they found the location only after she had moved. She was old and tired, but she refused to rest. Her communications officer, Jae Hyun, brought her reports constantly. Most were bad. Millions of humans were dying, but millions more were fighting. Admiral, we intercepted Velkari command communications. They are reporting low morale. Their soldiers are requesting psychological support. Bora allowed herself a small smile. Good. Show me their transmission. She listened to Velkari commanders speaking to each other. They sounded shocked. One mentioned that his warriors were having mental breakdowns. They had been trained to fight enemy soldiers, not grandmothers with bombs. They had been taught to honor brave enemies, not enemies who pretended to surrender and then exploded. They do not understand us, Bora said.
They think honor and rules matter.
They think war is a game with winners and losers. They do not understand that for us this is survival, and humans are very, very good at surviving. On the flagship, Commander Dae-sung held an emergency meeting with his other commanders. Sang-woo reported from Lagos. Yoonji reported from Sao Paulo. Both told similar stories. The humans do not fight like any species we have encountered, Sang-woo said. His face showed stress. They hide among civilians. They use their own cities as fortresses. They sacrifice themselves without hesitation. Yoonji added, Sir, I lost 300 warriors yesterday. Do you know how? A human hospital exploded. The building was full of wounded civilians. We thought it was an accident. It was not. They sacrificed their own wounded to kill my soldiers. Dae-sung felt sick. That is dishonorable. They do not care about honor, Yoonji shouted. Then she controlled herself. Forgive me, Commander. But these humans, they fight like... I do not have words. Like the universe itself offends them. Hee-jin presented her analysis. Sir, we have suffered 31% casualties in 3 weeks. At this rate, we will be at 50% in 2 months. Impossible. We have superior numbers, superior technology. Sir, they are teaching their children to build explosives. We found a school where the lessons were bomb-making and ambush tactics. Their children. Dae-sung made a decision he had never made before. He accessed the restricted Galactic Council archives, the secret files that normal commanders could not see. He searched for information about Earth. What he found made his blood cold. 3 previous species had tried to invade Earth. The Krell hegemony, 2,000 years ago. The Xinthian Collective, 800 years ago. The Morvok Empire, 300 years ago. All 3 invasions had ended the same way. Total loss. No survivors. No retreat. The files had been classified by the Galactic Council with a single note. Never again. Earth is a quarantine world. Do not engage. Why did no one tell us? Dae-sung whispered. Why was this hidden? He kept reading. The reports from the Morvok Empire were especially detailed. Because some automated drones had survived to send information. The Morvok had possessed superior technology. They had been winning. Then the humans started stealing Morvok equipment. Within weeks, humans were using Morvok energy weapons. Within months, humans had reverse-engineered Morvok ships. The Morvok commander's final message was simple. They do not fight. They consume. Send no one else. Daesung sat alone in his quarters for an hour. Then he made another call to his commanders. We are losing, he said simply. The other commanders started to protest. Daesung held up his hand. We are losing because we do not understand what we are fighting. These are not primitives. These are not even warriors. They are something else. Something that does not stop. Heejin spoke carefully. Commander, the homeworld expects victory. They will not accept retreat. Then we must give them victory. Deploy the atmospheric incinerators. We will burn their resistance from the sky. Heejin's face went pale. Sir, those weapons are forbidden by the Galactic Accords. They will kill millions of civilians. The humans have killed thousands of our warriors. They do not follow rules. Why should we? Because we are Velkari. Because honor does not matter if we are all dead. The order was given. Atmospheric incinerators moved into position above Earth's major cities. These weapons could create fires hot enough to burn everything for hundreds of kilometers. They were designed to end rebellions quickly and terribly. On Earth, sensors detected the weapons moving into position. Admiral Bo-Ra received the alert. She had 15 minutes before the incinerators fired. She made a call to the defense platform commanders. Activate Prometheus Protocol. Admiral, that will reveal our hidden assets. Do it. Across the solar system, debris fields suddenly came alive. What the Velkari thought were damaged asteroids and space junk were actually weapon platforms. Hundreds of them. Humanity had been building them in secret for 50 years, hiding them in plain sight. Chung Min, the weapons coordinator, activated the systems. His hands moved across controls that had waited decades to be used. All platforms responding. Target lock acquired, firing. Kinetic projectiles launched. They were simple weapons, just tungsten rods, each one weighing several tons, but they were traveling at orbital velocity. When they hit with the force of nuclear weapons. 40% of the Velkari bombardment fleet died in 5 minutes. Daesung watched his fleet burn. He had been a commander for 300 years. He had won every battle he had ever fought. Until now. How? He asked Heejin. Commander Daesung made the hardest decision of his life. He authorized the use of planet crackers, weapons so terrible that the Galactic Council had banned them 1,000 years ago. These weapons did not just kill. They destroyed atmosphere, boiled oceans, and left worlds dead for generations. We have no choice, he told Heejin. If we cannot conquer Earth, we must make sure no one can. Heejin looked at her commander. She had served with him for 80 years. She had never seen him like this. Desperate, almost broken. Sir, this violates everything we believe. The Velkari Code says, the Velkari Code was written by warriors who never fought humans. Daesung's voice was cold. Deploy the weapons. In the underground shelters of Busan, Sujin held her 2 children close. She was 34 years old. Her husband had died in the first week of the invasion, piloting a defense shuttle that rammed a Velkari cruiser. Now alarms screamed through the shelter. Everyone knew what they meant. 15 minutes until bombardment. Around Sujin, people reacted in different ways. Some cried, some prayed, some just sat quietly. But Sujin saw something else too. People checking weapons, old men loading rifles, young women putting on armor taken from dead Velkari soldiers. Mom, are we going to die? Her daughter asked. She was 9 years old. Maybe, Sujin said honestly. But if we do, we are taking them with us. Like Dad did? Yes, like Dad did. We do not surrender. Not ever. Her daughter nodded. She was too young to understand death, but she understood defiance. Every human child did. But the planet crackers never fired. Admiral Bo-Ra had known this moment would come. She had prepared for it. Hidden throughout the asteroid belt were human weapons platforms, each one armed with kinetic missiles. Not the big ones used against ships. Smaller ones, faster ones, designed for one purpose, destroying satellites and orbital weapons. Chang Min, still at his control station, had not slept in 48 hours. He lived on coffee and rage. When the alert came that Velkari planet crackers were moving into position, he smiled. Finally, I was wondering when they would get desperate. He activated every hidden platform at once. Thousands of kinetic missiles launched. They were too many and too fast. The Velkari point defense systems tried to stop them, but it was like trying to stop rain with your hands. 40 Velkari bombardment ships died in 7 minutes. The planet crackers never got a chance to fire. On the flagship, alarm screamed. Young-Su shouted damage reports, but his voice was shaking. "Sir, we have lost 40% of our bombardment fleet." The humans had weapons hidden in the asteroid belt. Daesung stared at the tactical display. Every time he thought he understood Earth's defenses, they revealed something new. How long had they been preparing? How many weapons had they hidden? Hyojin pulled up files she had been studying in secret. "Commander, I need to show you something." She displayed intercepted human communications from 50 years ago. Military planning documents, strategic analyses, all of them discussing the same question. What if aliens invade? They were not caught by surprise, Hyojin explained. They saw us coming. Not the Velkari specifically, but someone. They have been watching the galaxy for decades. They knew someone would eventually come. But why hide? Why not show their strength? Because they wanted to look weak. They wanted invaders to commit fully, to bring their entire fleet close to Earth where it could be destroyed. "Sir, I think we were allowed to get this close." Daesung felt horror creep through him. "We walked into a trap." "Yes, sir." "How many weapons do they have left?" "Unknown. Every time we think we have found them all, more appear." On the ground, the war had become even more brutal. Jiwoo's forces in Seoul were surrounded. The humans had stopped retreating. Instead, they attacked from every direction at once. From above, from below, from buildings that looked empty. Min Seo led the coordination. Her resistance cell had grown from 19 people to nearly 200. They lived in the tunnels, surfacing only to fight. They had learned Velkari tactics by watching. Now they use those tactics against the Velkari. "They will try to break out tonight," Min Seo told her fighters. "They will move toward the river, trying to reach their landing zones. We let them get halfway. Then we collapse the bridges. But that will trap them with us," said one fighter, a young man named Hoseok. "Exactly. Trapped enemies make mistakes. We want them afraid. We want them so scared they shoot at shadows." That night, Jiwoo ordered the retreat. His forces moved through dark streets, weapons ready. Everything was too quiet. No attacks came. They reached the Han River. The bridges ahead would lead them to safety. Jiwoo stepped onto the first bridge. He got halfway across before he realized something was wrong. The bridge felt strange under his feet. He looked down and saw cables attached to the support beams. "Everyone off the bridge. Now it's a..." The explosion cut off his words. The bridge collapsed. Half his warriors fell into the water. The ones who survived found themselves under attack from both sides. Humans appeared on rooftops with stolen Velkari weapons. They appeared from manholes with human guns. They were everywhere. In the chaos, Jiwoo came face to face with Min Seo. She was bleeding from a cut on her head. She was limping. She should have been in a hospital. Instead, she pointed a gun at him. Jiwoo raised his hands. "I am unarmed. I do not care." In Velkari culture, you did not kill unarmed enemies. It was dishonorable. Min Seo had no such rules. She pulled the trigger, but her gun was empty. She had forgotten to reload. Jiwoo could have killed her then. His training said to show mercy to defeated enemies. But he hesitated, remembering all the times humans had used surrender as a trick. That hesitation saved his life. As Min Seo charged at him with a knife, another Velkari soldier shot her. The blast hit her in the shoulder, not fatal but enough to knock her down. Jiwoo ordered his soldiers to retreat, leaving Min Seo and her fighters behind. Later, being treated by a medic, Jiwoo could not stop thinking about the look in Min Seo's eyes. Not fear, not pain, just absolute determination. She had been bleeding, limping, and out of ammunition, but she had still attacked. "They do not stop," he said to the medic, "even when they should, even when it makes no sense. They just do not stop." In space, Dr. Wu Jin led a team of scientists working around the clock. They had pieces of destroyed Velkari ships, fragments of Velkari technology. In any other civilization, it would take years to understand alien technology. The humans did it in 11 days. "This is their shield generator," Wu Jin explained to his team. He looked terrible, surviving on coffee and pure stubbornness. "It creates a field that absorbs energy weapons. But look at this frequency. If we modulate our lasers to this exact wavelength, the shields become transparent. How did you figure that out? Asked Mi-young, a young physicist. By not sleeping and refusing to fail. Wu Jin smiled. It was not a sane smile. Send this to all defense platforms. Every ship. Every weapon emplacement. Let us show the Velkari what happens when you give humans your technology. Within hours, human weapons across the solar system recalibrated. The next time they fired at Velkari ships, the shields did nothing. Lasers that should have been blocked cut through armor like paper. In a factory in Berlin, Insu worked 16-hour shifts modifying civilian vehicles into weapons. He was a mechanic before the war. Now he built war machines from trucks and cars. He welded armor plating to buses. He mounted stolen Velkari weapons on tractors. He worked until his hands bled, then he worked more. Why do you not rest? Asked a young worker. I will rest when they are dead or gone, Insu replied. Until then we build. The young worker looked at him with admiration and fear. You think we can win? I know we can. You want to know why? Because losing is not an option. If we lose, humanity ends. So we will not lose. Simple. On the flagship, Dae-sung reviewed reports from across the galaxy. Hee-jin had found something else. Something that changed everything. Sir, I accessed the Galactic Council's restricted archives. There are records of 3 previous attempts to invade Earth. Dae-sung already knew this. Yes, I found those files. But there is more, sir. Much more. The Council knows about Earth. They have been watching humans for 1,000 years. They classified Earth as a danger world and deliberately kept other species away from it. Why? Hee-jin showed him the files. Because every species that has encountered humans has either been destroyed or changed by the contact. The Council fears what would happen if humans joined the galactic community. They fear humans would disrupt everything. One planet cannot threaten the entire galaxy. Sir, humans went from horse-drawn carriages to walking on their moon in 100 years. They went from primitive computers to artificial intelligence in 50 years. They advance faster than any species in recorded history. The Council does not fear what humans are now. They fear what humans will become. Dae-sung felt the weight of his mistake. He had invaded a world that the entire galaxy had agreed to leave alone. He had ignored warnings that had been deliberately hidden to keep species like his from making this exact error. What about the Velkari High Command? Do they know? I sent a message asking for reinforcements. The reply came today. Hee-jin's face was grim. They are not sending help, sir. They are disavowing the invasion. We are on our own. They are abandoning us? They say we violated Galactic Council protocols. Commander Dae-sung had 36 hours before the Velkari High Command abandoned his fleet completely. 36 hours to extract his forces and flee. But he needed something. Some way to save face. Some proof that the Velkari had not simply been beaten by primitives. We capture their leaders, he told his council. Admiral Bora and her command staff. We take them hostage and negotiate a withdrawal. Sang-woo, commanding from Lagos, shook his head. Sir, we tried that. The humans do not negotiate. They will negotiate for their admiral. She is a hero to them. Hee-jin looked doubtful but said nothing. She had learned that arguing with Dae-sung only made him more stubborn. Jin-woo led the special operations team. He was the best the Velkari had, trained in infiltration and capture. His squad consisted of 12 warriors, each one a veteran of dozens of campaigns. They studied Admiral Bora's movements for 6 hours looking for a pattern. She moves her command center every 6 hours, Jin-woo reported. But I found something. There is a 40-minute window during each move when she is vulnerable. When her ship is in transit between stations. Can you intercept? Yes, sir. But it will require perfect timing. You have 30 hours. Make it happen. Jin-woo's team positioned themselves along the route Bora's transport would take. They waited in a damaged orbital station that the humans thought was abandoned. When Bora's ship approached, they deployed. The attack was swift and professional. Jin-woo's team disabled the ship's engines without destroying it. They cut through the hull and breached the command deck. Inside, they found Admiral Bora, her communications officer Jae-hyun, and the chief strategist Myung-hee. Bora did not resist. She was 68 years old and looked exhausted. But her eyes were alert. She watched the Velkari soldiers carefully studying them. Admiral Bora, Jin-woo said in English, you are now a prisoner of the Velkari Empire. Please come with us, of course, Bora said calmly. She stood up slowly, her knees creaking. Jae-hyun, Myung-hee cooperate with them. Jin-woo felt something was wrong. The capture had been too easy. Bora was too calm, but he had his orders. He took the prisoners back to the flagship. Dae Sung immediately broadcast a message to all human forces. People of Earth, we have captured Admiral Bora. If you wish to see her alive again, you will cease all military operations and allow our fleet to withdraw peacefully. You have 1 hour to respond. Then Dae Sung waited. He expected negotiations, counter-offers, threats, anything. Instead, there was silence. 10 minutes passed. 20. 30. No response from Earth at all. Finally, after 40 minutes, a transmission came. It was Captain Taewon. Commander Dae Sung, we have received your message. Here is our response. Admiral Bora knew the risks when she took command. She gave explicit orders before your soldiers captured her. Do not negotiate with invaders. Do not offer concessions. Continue the mission. So that is what we will do. If you harm her, we will kill every single one of your warriors. If you release her, we will still kill most of your warriors. Your choice. You have 24 hours to leave our solar system. The countdown has started. The transmission ended. Dae Sung stared at the screen in disbelief. They will not even negotiate? They will let their admiral die? Hai-Jin pulled up more intercepted communications. Sir, the orders came from Bora herself. Before we captured her, she told her second-in-command to refuse any negotiations. She told them to continue fighting even if she was executed. That is insane. That is human, sir. In her detention cell, Admiral Bora sat across from Commander Dae Sung. He had come to interrogate her personally, to understand why humans were willing to sacrifice their leaders. Your people will not negotiate for you, Dae Sung said. Does that not anger you? Bora smiled. I gave those orders myself. I am proud they are following them. Why? We could kill you, so kill me. Do you think that matters? I am 68 years old. I have lived a full life. I have a son and 2 grandchildren. I will die happy knowing I helped defend Earth. Dae Sung tried a different approach. We are willing to leave. We will withdraw our forces. We only want to do so with honor. There is no honor in invasion, Bora replied sharply. You came to conquer us, to make us slaves. You failed. Now you want to leave with dignity? No, you will leave in defeat and the entire galaxy will know. You are cruel. Bora's smile faded. You want to talk about cruelty? You invaded our world. You killed 89 billion humans. 89 billion. That is 12% of our entire species. You destroyed our cities. You made our children into soldiers. You made us monsters. And now you call us cruel because we will not let you leave gracefully? Dae Sung had no answer. Bora continued, her voice softer but more intense. Let me tell you about humans, Commander. We are not warriors. We never wanted to be. We are farmers and teachers and artists. We write poetry and make music. We fall in love and raise families. We are, in our hearts, peaceful creatures. You do not fight like peaceful creatures because you forced us to fight. You came to our home and threatened our families. So we became what we needed to be. We became killers. We became weapons. We did it because the alternative was extinction. Bora leaned forward. You asked why we defy gods? Because we killed our gods. Because we looked at powerful beings who demanded worship and said, prove you deserve it. Because humanity spent 200,000 years learning that nothing protects you except your own strength. She pointed at Dae Sung. Your people conquered 800 worlds. You think that makes you powerful? But those worlds surrendered. They saw your strength and submitted. You never learned what happens when someone refuses. Now you know. While Dae Sung interrogated Bora, Ye-Jin made a discovery that changed everything. She had been investigating the Galactic Council's archives, looking for any information that might help the Velkari. What she found was a conspiracy. The 3 previous invasions of Earth had not been accidents. The Galactic Council had allowed them to happen. They had deliberately hidden warnings and removed protections. They wanted species to invade Earth. Why? To teach lessons. The Krell hegemony had been growing too aggressive, conquering worlds and enslaving populations. The Council let them invade Earth. The Krell were destroyed. The lesson: there are limits to conquest. The Xinthian collective believed they were the superior species, chosen to rule lesser beings. The Council let them invade Earth. The Xinthians were destroyed. The lesson: no species is superior. The Morvok Empire had been developing weapons too terrible to allow. The Council let them invade Earth. The Morvoks were destroyed. The lesson: power has consequences. Now the Velkari, growing proud and aggressive, had been allowed to invade Earth, and they were being destroyed. The lesson, even the mighty can fall. He-Jin showed Dae-sung what she had found. Sir, we were set up. The Council wanted this to happen. They wanted Earth to destroy us. Why? To maintain balance. To remind the galaxy that there are things more dangerous than the Council itself. Earth is not just a planet. It is a warning. This is what happens when you threaten the wrong species. Dae-sung felt rage and despair mixed together. So we are just a lesson? Our warriors died to teach others fear? Yes, sir. Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, a different drama played out. Ji-woo, the Velkari ground commander, had been wounded in Seoul. Humans had captured him during a skirmish. Instead of executing him, they took him to a field hospital. The medic treating him was Byung-hoon, the same medic who had been working 16-hour shifts since the invasion started. He cleaned Ji-woo's wounds and bandaged his injuries. He gave the alien soldier medicine for pain. "Why are you helping me?" Ji-woo asked. "I am your enemy." Byung-hoon looked tired. His hands shook slightly from exhaustion and too much coffee. "Because you are hurt. That is enough reason. But I have killed humans. Yes, and when you heal, we will probably be enemies again. But right now you are just someone who needs help." Ji-woo could not understand this. It made no sense. Humans were brutal in combat, using every dirty trick imaginable, but they also showed mercy to wounded enemies. They fought like demons but acted like angels. It was confusing. "Humans are complicated," Byung-hoon said, as if reading Ji-woo's thoughts. "We contain multitudes. We can be the worst things in the universe, or the best, sometimes both at the same time." In the prison camp where Young-soo and other Velkari soldiers were held, something strange happened. The humans guarded them closely, but they also treated them fairly. They provided food, medical care, and shelter. They even let the prisoners communicate with each other. The guard was a young woman named Hae-won. She was only 14 years old, but she carried a rifle and knew how to use it. She had killed 6 Velkari warriors in combat, but now she brought the prisoners extra blankets when it got cold. "Why do you help us?" Young-soo asked her. "We invaded your world." "Because the fighting is over for you," Hae-won replied. "You are prisoners. That means you are our responsibility." "But you hate us," Hae-won thought about that. "I hate what you did. I hate that you came here and killed people. But you are just soldiers following orders like me. When the war ends, maybe we do not need to hate each other." Young-soo talked with other prisoners late at night. They whispered about what they had seen. How humans fought without honor but showed unexpected kindness. How they were brutal and gentle, cruel and merciful. One ship refused to leave. Commander Sang-woo had served the Velkari Empire for 400 years. He had conquered 32 worlds. He had never retreated, never surrendered, never admitted defeat. He was not going to start now. "All ships," Sang-woo broadcast to the remaining Velkari fleet. "This is a coward's retreat. We are running from primitives, from a species that barely knows how to leave its own planet. I will not do this. I will restore our honor." Dae-sung responded immediately. "Commander Sang-woo, you are ordered to join the withdrawal. This is not negotiable. I refuse. You can abandon your honor. I will not abandon mine." 3 other ships broke formation and joined Sang-woo. Their captains felt the same shame, the same rage. They would rather die than go home in defeat. Sang-woo's ship, the Pride's Vengeance, led them toward Earth. "Target, Seoul. We will burn it from orbit. We will show these humans what it means to defy the Velkari." Dae-sung watched helplessly as Sang-woo's ships positioned themselves for orbital bombardment. "Sang-woo, please. You will only get more of our people killed. Then we die with honor." On Earth Defense Station Olympus, what remained of it, Captain Tae-won received the alert. 4 Velkari ships approaching. Intent: orbital bombardment of Seoul. Estimated casualties: 15 million humans. Tae-won looked at his damaged station. They had enough weapons to maybe stop 2 ships, not 4. He ran calculations in his head. There was only one solution, and it required his death. He opened a channel to his wife, Minji, who was safe in an underground shelter. She appeared on screen, her face worried. "Hello, my love," Tae-won said softly. Minji knew immediately. She had been married to him for 30 years. She knew what that tone meant. "No, please no, I have to. 15 million people, Minji. I cannot let them die. The war is over. The Velkari are leaving. These 4 ships are not. They are going to bomb Seoul. I can stop them." Tears ran down Minji's face. "Our son, He needs his father. Taewon smiled. It was a sad smile, but genuine. Tell him I kept the sky safe. Tell him I loved him. Tell him to be brave like his mother. I love you. I love you too. Always. Taewon closed the channel. He could not afford to hesitate. He gave orders to his crew. Everyone to the escape pods, now. Sir, we will not leave you, said his second-in-command. That is an order, go. Someone needs to survive to tell the story. When the pods had launched, Taewon sat alone on the bridge. He aimed his entire station at Sangwoo's flagship. The station still had engines, barely functional but working. He pushed them to full power. Sangwoo saw the station moving toward him. He laughed. One damaged station? Against 4 warships? This is their grand defense? Sir, his weapons officer warned, the station is accelerating. I think they are going to ram us. Destroy it. The 3 other Velkari ships opened fire. Their weapons hit the station, tearing pieces off. But Taewon had spent the last month reinforcing the station's forward section. He had prepared for exactly this scenario. The station kept coming. Sangwoo finally understood. He is going to hit us. Evasive maneuvers, too late. The station collided with Pride's Vengeance at full speed. The explosion was visible from Earth's surface. Both the station and the flagship disappeared in a ball of fire. The 3 remaining Velkari ships tried to complete their mission. But now the human fleet had time to respond. Captain Seok-jin, who had survived his own kamikaze run weeks ago, led the attack. He had learned not to sacrifice himself unless absolutely necessary. He could be more useful alive. The battle lasted 4 minutes. All 3 Velkari ships were destroyed. The human fleet lost 40% of its remaining vessels. 2,000 human personnel died, but Seoul survived. On his flagship, Daesung watched it happen. He felt empty. So many deaths. All because Sangwoo could not accept that the war was lost. Take us home, he told Hyejin. The Velkari fleet began its journey back to the homeworld. They had left with 500 ships. They returned with 135. 73% losses. In military history, any campaign with more than 30% losses was considered a disaster. On Earth, humans counted their own dead. 89 billion people. 12% of the entire human population. Whole cities gone. Millions of children orphaned. Billions of families destroyed. But Earth survived. In Seoul, Minseo stood in the ruins where her school had been. She was alive. Most of her resistance cell was dead. 19 people she had led into battle. Only 4 survived. She found Haewon sitting on a piece of rubble, staring at nothing. The girl was 14, but looked much older. She had killed and seen killing. That changed you. Did we win? Haewon asked. Minseo sat down next to her. We survived. For humans, that is the same thing. It does not feel like winning. No, it never does. Admiral Bora, released by the Velkari, gave a speech that was broadcast across Earth. She stood in front of a memorial wall, 89 billion names stretching out behind her. We paid a terrible price, she said. Her voice was steady, but her eyes were wet. We paid it in blood, in suffering, in loss. 89 billion of our brothers and sisters, our parents and children, our friends and neighbors. They died defending our freedom. They died because the alternative was chains. She paused, looking at the camera. Some people will ask, was it worth it? Could we have negotiated? Could we have surrendered and saved lives? The answer is no. Because surrender would have cost more than lives. It would have cost our souls. It would have cost our children's freedom. It would have cost humanity's future. So yes, we paid the price, and we would pay it again. Because some things are worth more than survival. Freedom is one of them. Dr. Woo Jin and his team cataloged the captured Velkari technology. Earth had gained 500 years of advancement in 2 months. Faster than light drives, energy shields, advanced weapons, medical technology. The humans studied everything, learned everything, improved everything. We should thank the Velkari, Woo Jin joked darkly. They gave us the tools to defend ourselves from the next invasion. His assistant, Mi Young, did not laugh. Will there be a next time? Probably. The galaxy is full of species. Eventually, someone else will forget the lesson. When they do, we will be ready. Byung-hoon, the medic, treated Ji-woo one last time before the Velkari returned home. The alien soldier's wounds had healed well. He would have scars, but he would survive. Why did you save me? Ji-woo asked. He had asked this question before, but he still did not understand the answer. Because you needed saving, Byung-hun said simply. He looked exhausted. He had lost weight during the war. Everyone had. Because war has rules even if no one follows them. Because you will remember this when you go home. You will remember that humans showed you mercy. And you hope that will make me tell others not to invade? Yes, will it work? Ji-woo thought about everything he had seen. The brutality, the kindness, the horror, the compassion. Yes, it will work. I will tell them what I saw. I will tell them that humans are not warriors. They are something worse and better at the same time. They are survivors. And survivors are more dangerous than any warrior. The Valkyrie homeworld greeted the returning fleet in silence. No celebrations. No victory parades. Just quiet shame. The mighty Valkyrie Empire had been defeated by a single planet. Daesung expected execution. He got something else instead. The High Council summoned him, but instead of judgment, they showed him something. Elder Sunja, a council member who had lived for 800 years, displayed footage from across the galaxy. The invasion was broadcast, Sunja explained. Every species watched. They saw the mighty Valkyrie retreating from humans. Do you know what this has done? It has shamed us. It has saved us. 3 major empires were planning invasions of Earth. The Krix Dominion, the Veltarn Collective, and the Sherik Alliance. All 3 have cancelled their plans. Your failure prevented 3 more wars. You inadvertently saved millions of lives. Daesung did not know how to feel. So our shame serves a purpose? Your shame teaches a lesson. That Earth cannot be conquered. That humans cannot be broken. This lesson will prevent future suffering. Young-Soo and the other Valkyrie prisoners were returned to the homeworld. They had been treated well by humans, which confused their families. How could the enemy show such kindness? But Young-Soo and his fellow prisoners had changed. They spoke of humans differently. Not as primitives, not as lesser beings, but as something to be respected. Feared, yes, but also respected. They are not simple, Young-Soo explained to his young niece. They contain contradictions. They can be gentle and brutal. They can show mercy and refuse it. They are what we would be if we did not have our codes of honor. They are what happens when a species values survival above everything else. Some Valkyrie, including Ji-woo, requested permission to return to Earth as ambassadors. The human government agreed. Keep your former enemies close. They understand the cost of war. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Ambassador Gong-min represented Earth. It was humanity's first official appearance before the Council. Gong-min was a skilled diplomat, trained to be polite and proper. But his message was neither. Members of the Council, he began, I am here to make one thing clear. Earth desires peace. We want to live quietly, raise our families, explore space, and develop our civilization.